Major Garrett has been following the Trump transition. He was also in attendance yesterday, and so he is the man with whom to speak here. Major, James Clapper, again, as we saw, reaching out to Donald Trump last night. An olive branch?
Certainly an olive branch, in the sense that the Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, cannot have a continued roiling argument between the president-elect and the entire intelligence community days before the inauguration. This is something that needs to be diffused, and both sides are going to have to diffuse it. That's going to be more difficult than one might imagine. Kellyanne Conway can speak of leaks for political purposes, but from some in the intelligence community's perspective, when Donald Trump, after becoming president-elect, disregarded the intelligence community's general consensus that Russia was behind hacking during the 2016 election, and saying, why should we take that seriously? These are the same people who said there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. That was a political broadside at the entire intelligence community, feeding off of their most conspicuous blunder in the last 20 years, even though the intelligence community has got a lot more right than wrong in the intervening years. So from the intelligence community's point of view, Trump was playing politics almost from the get-go of his transition on the entire question of Russian hacking, one he now grudgingly acknowledges in public for the first time yesterday at that press conference. So both sides have grievances. Both sides believe something is going wrong that is skewing the relationship one way or the other. This is not, I would point out, Josh, uncommon in sometimes rough relationships between the executive branch and the intelligence community. What is different in kind is this public description of the division between a president-elect and the intelligence community. James Clapper knows it has to be solved if it can be solved. He made an attempt to do so last night. One technical point from President-elect Trump's tweet this morning when he says this information was illegally circulated. It can be only illegally circulated if it's a U.S. intelligence document. It's not a U.S. intelligence document. That was part of James Clapper's conversation with Trump last night. This was generated by a former British intelligence officer for other private clients. It wasn't anything that originated in the U.S. intelligence community. So when the president-elect says this morning it was illegally circulated, he's either misunderstanding the underlying facts or shaping them for his own political purposes. Those kinds of tactics, back and forth, have to cease, and if they don't cease, they at least need to be mellowed a bit for this relationship to be repaired.
We should also point out, in terms of parsing, that because we did not provide the statement of Clapper in full, he also did not denounce anything. He just made it clear that they had no position to take as of yet. It's one reason, Major, why the respected consultant with whom we spoke earlier today, Ian Bremmer, called this really an open war between the intelligence agency collective and the president-elect. You asked yesterday of Mr. Trump to further explain his use of the phrase Nazi Germany in a tweet discussing this release. What did you make of the answer he provided you?
That he didn't back down from that he wants to, as his counter-punching tenacity has demonstrated over and over again, meaning if he feels something has been done against him that he dislikes, he's going to hit back hard, and strike back with, in a political context, the sharpest, most belligerent language he can conjure. And Nazi Germany tactics for the intelligence community, even if the president-elect is misinterpreting some of the underlying facts, just saying that, defending it, amplifying it at his first press conference as president-elect, is his way of saying to the intelligence community, I am genuinely angry, and I'm going to deal with this in a public forum, and I'm going to try to put you back on your heels because I think you're trying to put me back on my heels. Vice President-elect Mike Pence said all of this is about demeaning the election of the Trump-Pence ticket. That's a grievance this transition team does feel, perhaps more acutely than it ought to. But the fact is, the transition team feels it. The man at the top of that transition, President-elect Trump, feels it. And until there can be a meeting of the minds and a general appreciation both of what the grievances are for the president-elect and the intelligence community, and like I said earlier, a mellowing of those grievances, this is going to continue to be a problem, and one that very well may play out publicly.
And as I do let you go, Major, I can't help but notice that particular shade of blue of your shirt. I do want to pass along condolences as the Chargers are packing up and leaving.
I'm a lifelong San Diegan. I grew up there. I was born there in 1962. The first Charger game I attended. John Hadle was the Charger quarterback. Joe Namath was the New York Jets quarterback. As a lot of Charger games turned out in my youth, the Jets won. It's a great community, my hometown of San Diego. We're losing an institution. The NFL is moving on. And honestly, I hope it doesn't come back. San Diego will prosper. The NFL will probably learn that you can't deal with every community the way you did in the 70s and 80s and 90s. This may be a turning point in a city's relationship to the NFL's relationship to its fans, and I know my Sundays now will be unencumbered by any NFL obligations.
I know the feeling. I look forward to spending those extra hours by your side. Major Garrett there in Washington.
Thank you.
As always, we appreciate it.